You copied homework, I copied homework in school, and you know what the consequences of doing that are. But this is not school, it's anime. And the reason Ragna Crimson is underrated is because it's the copied homework of successful anime. I enjoyed it, but not because of the Ragna part, instead it was the Crimson part. You'll get the joke if you carefully listen to this sick voice of mine. And I was the one copying homework always. I really rarely listen to recommendations, but a close friend of mine told me about this anime, and I was like, yeah bro, I'll check it out. A month later, I turn on the first episode, and I'm like, this dude looks familiar. Anyways, what kind of personality does he have? Oh, I get it now. He's the Malcolm in the middle of the white hair dudes, the MC, and there's two other side characters. And then the real side character of this anime is this little lolly named Leonica. They do have a pretty weird relationship, but you know, they're ride or dies. Ragna has this crazy dream of his future self telling him Leonica will die, and since he's the weakling of every single shonen series, he goes through his training arc, but a little to no avail. His future self shows himself once again and says, I'm you, but older and lonelier, because all close to me died. I'm strong, but you're not. And when the next dragon comes to attack this village, the leaked image of Leonica being destroyed will become real. Ragna panics because he can't believe how ugly and old he is, and then he trains even harder. Dragons attack the village. Our brave, weak protagonist gets thrown away in the river by confronting the dragon. He takes a little nap and suddenly meets himself and decides he wants to merge into one to save all the people close to him. So that dude from solo leveling merges with Gojo himself. The source of his power is silverine, metal that when touches dragons, freezes them and makes them die. If you stab a dragon in the heart, you one-shot him. It's basically like vampires. And not to mention the dragons only attack at night for some reason. They're allergic to sun. But the reason why Ragna became so strong is his future self literally became a silver sword. He merged not with Gojo this time, but with that silverine sword he had. I don't know what type of kink he had, but the anime felt cheap because this was only the first episode, and it all changed on episode 2. The big ugly dragon appears in the city and eats a few people. Ragna kicks his ass and sees this pretty maid that looks like his sibling, but it turns out that that's a person he knows. She's the reason Ragna was able to merge with his future self. He calls her him because it turns out that cute maid is a gender bender dragon. Didn't meet him yet in this present life. After pretending she's not him, they send off Leonica to a safe place because she's weak. That's where Crimson shows his true colors to Ragna and tells him that he earned his trust and he has to drink this poison to kill him if Ragna betrays Crimson. Now this is where the characters make decisions and, you know, stakes his life on it. Basically, he wants to protect all the people he lost in the future, and Crimson is going to be using him as much as he can. So he becomes strong, you know, and destroys the dragons alone. Now, I was kind of sad Crimson is not a maid instead of a dragon, but it turns out he's like the reason the anime was good. The most underrated character of all time, I might even say. He doesn't care about people dying. He doesn't care if anybody. He just wants to use Ragna to kill all the dragons. He is dark, cunning, smart, and pretty much insane, and fucked in the head. You know it's gonna be edgy if this is shown in the first 5 seconds of episode 3. If you had English in your school or your primary language, you probably had to write fictional stories for essays in your school. At least I did. What if I told you the setting is the medieval age, where you fight with swords, you fight dragons that are attacking? You're not interested? What about that my favorite character has a Glock in the medieval age that shoots dragons while also inventing a cell phone, but they're still in the medieval age? Anyways, the yapping wind dragon has appeared. Close to Ragna and Crimson, and they need him dead. People that survived begged them to save their village, and Ragna was pretty much tired of fighting because, yeah, that's the only toll that he has for his power. So he's like useless for some time. He's fatigued. And Crimson being Crimson, he just abuses those same people and just beats the shit out of Ragna. Like, what? People that needed help are given help, but all they gotta do is, you know, arm themselves with the AKs that Ragnar created from his body because he's a sword. Silverine Crimson just brainwashes all the people, promising them that they will all live and they'll kill the dragons while he's just handing them the guns to kill the dragon with. This brings me back to the point that would you enjoy if somebody copied your homework 10 times over, passed it off and got a better grade than you? No, you wouldn't. And this is why this anime is underrated, because people recognized that it's just a lot of those cliche tropes stacked on each other. It's a weird show, but I enjoyed it. And Crimson is probably the best character. And what's also insane is that there exists a zombie anime that's not actually about zombies, and I think you should watch this video to find out what it's about.